All right, man, we are back. It's time for the main topic. Been looking forward to this Tipplebot. Long time. It came out, and I was like, I'm not ready to do it on a show. So I didn't watch it, and I had to avoid it. And my damn kids was watching it, and I had to like stay upstairs. So it's been bad. Finally got a chance to watch this movie last night, and so I'm fresh, man. I got all the goodies. What we're talking about, boys and girls, is the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I think that's the official title of the thing. And so, oh, I still don't have my computer back, y'all. So, what? This is 2022, PG-13, 2 hours 19 minutes. So, the synopsis is pretty basic here. Famed Southern detective Benoit Blanc, is that his name?
Benoit, yeah.
Travels to Greece for his latest case. Yeah, could have did a little better than that, but oh well.
That's it.
That's it. That's what it says.
Well,
damn.
Okay.
They let
it is what happened.
That is yeah. That is exactly what happened.
She finally got her shot. They said, "Go ahead, you got this one. Write it up."
But you know what? I kind of appreciate if they would. Okay, I guess maybe if you wanted to be a little more complete, you would have said "and mayhem ensues" or something like that. But like, I appreciate a concise synopsis.
Yes. So directed by Rian Johnson, and just when I thought this cat would never have a career after Star Wars, Knives Out came around, and I actually say, well, he can do something really, really well. I love Knives Out, man. Jesus.
My first interaction with Rian Johnson is the movie Brick, which is also it's a noir, like but in current times, mystery that I really like, and I think this might be kind of his.
This is Jamie.
This is his good, sweet spot.
Yep. So, man, Tipplebot, who's in this damn movie?
Okay, so Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, Jessica Henwick, Madeline Klein, then some other people, Noah Sagan, Jackie Hoffman, Dallas Roberts.
Kate Hudson. Was she the
Kate Hudson? Yes.
Okay. I don't recognize Kate Hudson that damn much. Give me a damn break.
How is that possible?
I just don't. She never resonated with me, man. She just never has.
Yeah, but she's just kind of like she's there in the zeitgeist.
I did. I know. I just,
Okay.
Yeah. So, man, before we take it all the way, it is time.
And there's a bunch of fucking cameos in this movie, as if yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Ethan Hawke for no fucking reason.
I didn't see Ethan Hawke in this movie.
He's the one that sprays him in the mouth.
Is that Ethan Hawke?
Sure is.
Oh, I didn't even recognize it. So pretty good. So it's time for one word. Our guest. One word. What you got?
My word is cathartic.
Okay. All right. So, let's unpack.
Okay, so cathartic means a lot of different things, but I thought it was like sort of a nice relief that it was a good sequel. Like for me, I felt because like when you have a sequel like that and there's going to be a third one, like you're like, can it live up to your expectations? Yeah. So like that was a relief to be like, oh, it's good. I don't have to like pretend or like pine for something else.
Look for something to be good.
Yeah. But also like what happens in the story, and I guess like let us get through it. But there are things that happen that are cleansing, I would say. And if you are like watching it and relating to certain characters, what is happening to the other characters, you're like, oh, seems about right. Like I feel good about this. So I know we're gonna spoil it eventually, but just like
not yet. In a minute.
Yeah.
In a second. Tipplebot, what you got with this movie?
Yeah, I would say my one word would be like it's a couch movie. Couch. Where you're just like, yeah, I don't mind watching this movie. I will say that I'm not to just take away from what Liza said. I didn't think this was a bad movie or a bad sequel, but I do think that like how I felt about the first movie,
impossible to recreate.
Yeah, I just don't think that that's something that, because that already exists and is already in my mind, there's just not going to be that. And this one, we won't get into too much detail, but I thought like, is this way goofier than the first one? I didn't remember the first one being quite so goofy.
They had its moments.
I think that the goofiness is in a different environment, and that sort of changes it, because like the goofiness within a family, and especially like a stodgy New England family, feels different than the goofiness between a bunch of like
friends,
jet setting, like really famous rich people. Like that probably feels goofier, because that is not something that most people relate to.
Sure.
All right.
And we'll get into some of the, obviously, like Liza said. No spoilers.
Yeah.
My one word is bravo.
Oh, nice.
I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, and it was a point, which we'll get into, where the movie was flowing, and I was just like, this is just gonna be okay. And then shit was like, whoa, 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 and I was like, oh, I'm enjoying the hell out of this now. It's like, oh shit, you're doing a good job. Now, not, I wasn't worried about it, but at one point I was just like, oh, this is kind of like just flowing, and then it was like, oh shit. So we'll get to that. So let's hit some spoilers so we can take a deep dive into the Glass Onion. So Ben, we start this thing off, and it's pandemic time again. We just talked about a trailer that was pandemic, and so.
But this one is not a pandemic movie.
No.
Occurs
just
during the pandemic.
Right there, which is a way you can do shit classy without putting people through trauma.
But also, I am confused about this movie as far as like why that was included.
Well, maybe it's just the fact that it was during that time, and so. Some annoying things that happened and just brought back to reality, like in the beginning, trying to understand people talking with a mask on their face. I was just like, I was like, "Ooh, shit!" I used to know the hell.
I kind of thought it would be used to kind of like there would be some kind of reveal or something like that. And of course, I did enjoy Kate Hudson's homage. I believe it was
the Super Spreader
Lana Del Rey, who wore a mask that was just
nothing,
a fishnet mask.
Yeah. So. Well, I kind of like the setup, Liza, that they showed the different people in their own areas and how they were going through the pandemic, which was so familiar to me. Like, because I had friends that was having super spreader events every day. I had friends who was, wouldn't touch nobody. So when I saw it, it was kind of amusing to me. I don't know. What about you?
I guess I kind of forgot about that beginning part where like there was parts that did. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I thought it's sort of like, it's an easy introduction to all of those characters, because they're in their own environment, and you can show in the environment like who that type of person is really easily. I've really liked the woman who plays Dave Bautista's mom, who
my god, that was so good.
Everything
so she
really
fast. Shit out of him all quick. He's such a mama's boy living in his mama's basement and stuff like that. And I loved it. So good. All right. So we get introduced to everybody, and then we have Benoit, who's like having a stroke because he's just stuck and he can't solve murders. And so I thought that was cool. So if you got to figure out a way to get a world famous detective to participate in something that
all of this pandemic stuff is starting to make more sense, because that's why he's unable to do cases, because he's kind of
he couldn't wait to do any damn thing. He was just like, oh, anything you say, as far as what we know in the beginning of the movie. And so that's why he gets the invitation, and and he decides to go, because he's just seemingly stoked to get out of the damn house. So I thought that was cool. So we have all these people, they come on this boat trip, and then there's one person, they showed the one lady beat the hell out of the box and stuff like that, and she showed up, and they like, why is she here? So the setting up of the mystery of who the characters were, I thought was brilliantly done. How did you guys feel about that? Because I was struggling to figure out how they fit together, what I'm saying, for a long time. I was like, what is this all about? So
yeah, and I think that and this is like recurring throughout the whole story, is like, it's so like we're looking for something more complex because of what like we're used to and just watching movies in general, but the answer of like how they're connected is actually very simple, which LeBlanc lays out in the third act. Like, this is very obvious. But I think that they're like a bunch of really disparate people, and I think that Janelle Monáe's character just like slamming the box and being like, she doesn't have, and like even at that point we don't know very much about like who this woman actually is, but just somebody who like, I don't have time for games. Like, I don't have time to solve this puzzle. That is like you show really frame her as like, this woman is not going to play along with whatever is happening.
I gotta say about her, man. I've seen her in a number of movies now. I've been really impressed. She always impresses me in everything I've seen her. Like, she has done such different things, and I've never seen her play the same role or even come out as being just her playing a role. You know, like Will Smith. No matter what he does, he's Will Smith. You know, but she has done such different shit that I've always like, damn, she's pretty damn good. I think she's really underrated, man. You know, so. You know,
well, I think she's quite beloved, and I do think that in this film, we obviously get the reveal, the turn later that some characters know, obviously, about, that we are then filled in on.
Yeah.
And her ability, I feel like, and to Eliza's point, is that like that the activities that they have her engage in before the reveal are as believable for either of these characters.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that that's why that works so well, is that you would see that her sister doing that, and you would see that person doing that.
Let's talk about Daniel Craig for a little bit.
Let's talk about Daniel Craig.
Because, you know, every time I see Daniel Craig now, it's like James Bond, but until this character hits the scene, because then I'm like, that ain't James Bond walking around with that ridiculous swimming suit on in the water. Being like a 90-year-old dude walking around. I thought it was brilliant. I'm like, yes. I mean, no way in the world you're going to associate this cat with James Bond. Not in this movie. No way. Go ahead.
I just love that I think that like we've entered a Daniel Craig phase where he gets to be fun.
Yeah.
And he's always been like I think fun, like off screen. And I think like there's that whole Taika Waititi directed perfume or a cologne commercial that he's in.
Yeah.
And I just like him as this kind of like a goof, but not really a goof. He's very like, cause he's very smart and very like, he sees everything but it's fun at the same time. It's kind of like the way that I feel about this movie, is that it has a lot of like, I love Agatha Christie, but when you read a lot of Agatha Christie novels, first of all, the mystery lives in the not knowing. Almost all mysteries are unsatisfying at the end because the thrill lives in not knowing who or what is happening, and that's the delicate nature, the good things that you make. Can you misdirect at least long enough to get someone to the end? And they did a great job in this film, and I feel like it's I don't want to like dismiss this film as not being good, but like it has like a cozy mystery feel where like it's very much, like I said, it's got some goofs to it, but also like the whole idea that there's a twin that like people just didn't know about and shit like that was just old timey accepted stuff.
It was Murder on the Orient Express type of stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we're like and I feel like in a lot of ways that makes it kind of a classic feeling stuff, because you are trying, a lot of mystery writers who make the best mysteries, ask themselves a question. Like, for instance, you said Murder on the Orient Express, but Agatha Christie, And Then There Were None is a very famous Agatha Christie novel, and she had written it just because she wanted to know if she could. She wanted to know if she could make this plot believable to the end. And I feel like that's the question that every good mystery asks. Can I make this believable enough without, like, I will say that there are some things that happen in mysteries where, like, in this movie, obviously, like, we are not, the reason why it's mysterious is that we are just not privy to that information yet. So, like, it's not like we could have figured it out without being shown that information.
But I think that was, I don't know, I think that was so good, man. Like when Blanc was walking around trying to smoke the cigarette and the alarms was going off, Dave Bautista was watching his girlfriend seemingly cheat, and all this shit was going on. I was like, what the hell? But it was good. I was like, oh, everybody is here to kill him. And then,
right, but if they had not stopped and said, actually, this is her twin, there would have been no way for you to figure that out.
No, exactly.
Without them revealing that to you.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and I'm agreeing with you, but I'm also saying I like what they did. You know what I'm saying? You didn't.
Yeah. So these people, also, one of the problems I have with this film, it's just one, is that like so at the beginning of this film, these people are very excited to receive this box from this guy, and they're like, "Oh, I love him. He's so great." And they're not lying, because at this point we are watching them without knowing anything of the backgrounds and stuff like that. So what we're seeing is their honest reaction.
I knew they
but then they you didn't know that when you were watching that part. Don't fucking lie.
No. I said this is bullshit. This is the setup. Everybody likes you. Somebody's got to die. It's a murder mystery, right?
Right. but you don't know who.
Right. No.
So like it could have been. But it could have been one of the girls killing one of the other girls. We didn't know. What I'm saying is there's kind of like, these are all, and they're fine, useful misdirects, because they don't like his ass. Do you know what I mean? They need him, but they do not like him.
So the reveal of how much they hate his, what I thought was great. And the reason, each person had a reason to not like him. You know, it was like, looked like pretty good, man. And I thought that setup of bringing you into this, like, he told this person this, he told that, you know, and they didn't even like throw it in your face. You still had to figure out. They gave you little pieces that they had some tension, but then the tension just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And let me just say, the Kate Hudson character who keep doing racist stuff, I thought was hilarious.
I think she is the best character in this. In this one, yeah. I mean, like besides Benoit, who's like the stable character, I just think that she's the most like believably. She's an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like she does a really good job. Like the sweatshop thing is very funny. Yeah, it's funny, but like she's like, please tell me you didn't think that's where sweatpants were.
I like how they insinuated she went to Halloween as Beyonce in blackface. They didn't say, but I was like, oh God.
And there was the whole thing where she was like, I didn't know that wasn't just something you said about cheap people.
Oh, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, but you know, and I do think that like I do think all of these characters, that is one thing that like, but you have to kind of shut your brain off in this instance where you're like, there's just no fucking way that 5 friends, I don't see these people have been friends at that time before they were famous. They don't make sense as friends.
Yeah, that whole like pub scene that they talk about at the bar, like where they were introduced to each other, like their personalities don't make sense. Like they didn't all like go to college together. Like this is something else. But you do have to like
you have to like forgive a little bit of those things, because that's not going to work. But I will say, when they get to the island, if you thought you had murdered somebody and then they show up, your reaction isn't going to be, oh, well, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, but I think they did a really good job, because he was supposed to have poisoned her. He didn't stay around and check her pulse, you know, to see if it worked. So
fair enough.
Could be like, oh shit, it didn't work.
But then why wouldn't he be terrified?
Well, because maybe, you know, okay, so let me just say this. I'm trying to repair. But maybe, you know, okay, so I think I poisoned somebody. They don't know that I you know, what if I think that they thought they just ate something bad, you know?
Okay.
I wasn't like, I poisoned you, you know, because she was sitting there talking, and next thing you know, she was out, you know, for later on in the movie, y'all. You know, so maybe he was thinking, maybe she don't know I did it. Maybe she thought she just got sick or something like that. Maybe, you know, maybe. So I didn't have a hard time believing that, you know, it wouldn't be anything going on.
So he just sent her, so he sent her the box as a cover?
Well, I think that what is very strongly like understood at the end is like he is stupid.
Right.
He is just very dumb and does not like, that is the crux of it. And I thought that was really an interesting way to like unveil the mystery. Is like he
was using words that I was like,
when they arrived, I was like, he said that, he said a couple of the words, and I honestly thought that I was like,
I
didn't think he's dumb. Yeah, I thought maybe I didn't think I was dumb, but I was like, well, that's not really what you'd say. But
right.
Maybe it's just something I don't understand.
My favorite scene in this whole movie is when he figured out the murder right from the beginning. You know, he was all excited and stuff. I was like, that is great. That's when I really started sitting down in my seat and started to enjoy the movie a lot. When
he's like, yeah, can we play now?
Yeah. And he was so mad at him and stuff.
Question to you both.
Yes.
Was that a nice reference to Gillian Flynn or a cruel reference to Gillian Flynn?
I think that it was supposed I think it was supposed to be like saying that it was like very elaborate and therefore she is good at doing that, but also that she is expensive, and it's showing that he has like a lot of money to that he like so much money that it didn't even occur to him to try and do it himself.
That's a good point, Liza, because when Serena was on the video in there and she was like,
yeah,
no money, I don't care. You know, I was like,
how much money is this? Like, and I'm asking you this because I have a problem conceptualizing large sums of money, but like theoretically, could Jeff Bezos do this?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah,
and I don't think he's on his level. Honestly, I think he's in the neighborhood, but I don't think he's on Bezos' level for sure. Yeah.
I guess Jeff Bezos goes to space, so
yeah,
and
they take other billionaires to space.
Also, like all of the stupid things that he did, like with the dock, like making a glass dock that only appears like is only accessible during like low tide or whatever. Right. Like, you know, if he had one smart person like in his inner circle to tell him like, no, this is why you don't do this. Like, I think Jeff Bezos, as much as he is probably on the same like, you know, level of like this, I think that he probably has smart people like around him. And it seems like the character of Andy is like the only smart person who was around him.
Yeah, she probably kept him from all that dumb stuff that he was doing, you know, because she actually held the purse strings and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know that underhanded stuff happens all the time. I just wasn't sure if it would even be possible to remove someone who was as important as you in the company. Does that happen? Is that possible? Question.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
They kicked out. It happened. They kicked out what's the name? You know.
But it even happens like in the worlds of like entertainment, like comics. Like you've got, you know, the people that were removed from the beginning of Marvel or whatever. And I think that you have lawyers. I mean, if you're smart, you go in to a project with another person and you both have your own lawyers. Like you make sure that the contract is there and that both sets of lawyers read over it and say like, you are solid. And that's what happens when you're like in a situation of trust. But what I guess I would find suspicious is like, why did she trust this guy in the first place?
She knew that she knew from the beginning that he was a moron.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she was maybe infatuated with him was maybe the implication, was that she had maybe like liked him. That's like when he was first introduced.
Yeah. She really wanted him to be a part of the group. That's for sure.
And I got also there's like, you know, obviously he's some kind of like egomaniac. So there's 100%. Like some charm to that. He's a very charming like person in some ways when you watch.
He should have never made money though because he was an idiot. So he just
it's crazy that he was able to make this much money because he's because as portrayed in this movie, being quite an idiot. But then we get, you know, we're into this thing where he's ruined the murder mystery.
Yeah,
he's ruined it. And so now they're trying to figure out a way, like what to do with the rest of their time on the island.
Yeah, but that all falls apart, man. When you know the murder happens, there's a murder on the compound.
Yes,
and then like the woman gets shot, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And when they went back, I was like, oh, and I loved it. I was like, oh, this is great because now we're getting this whole different point of view. And Benoit wasn't that bored. He was helping somebody out. You know what I'm saying? And the difference of the character that the lady was playing when she came in with the Southern accent, you know, from Alabama, I was like, damn, she good, man. I was like, god damn, she's a completely different person now. And the scheme that they had to you know, look for stuff, and man, I was laugh out loud moments when he kept mentioning her drinking and just being better when she drinks.
yeah, it was very funny. also, like, I love a good middle twist. Like, it means that you're not waiting until the end to learn things, and you feel like, oh, I'm now in on this with the, with the characters.
Yeah, and you gotta figure out how. Then the fun it begins to be how will we get our comeuppance,
which was very different from the very first movie, and so I really dug that it was it was a different way of doing things. I mean,
that is true.
Wasn't the same movie, so I enjoyed that. Other than having a cast of idiots that everybody hated, the one guy who from the beginning I thought was going to be the guy who get murdered. I didn't.
I did too. I thought, which is all of those things that you're thinking while you're watching this movie, like, oh, you think Edward Norton's going to be the one that gets killed initially, and that's all part of the good kind of writing and directing that you have, because even after Up for a While, it's revealed that he's kind of like, there's not quite the reveal yet, but we kind of get the idea that like things are a little bit different than they seem, right? Because he's got that money. Even then you're like, I still think it's gonna be him.
Yeah, I thought that for a moment, but then they started breaking glass. I was like, oh shit. I thought something, like you said, I thought somebody was gonna die during that glass smashing scene, because escalated.
Yeah, I was confused. Was it glass or was it ice?
It was glass. It was made out of the fuel source, the hydrogen based fuel source. Like, everything in that compound was made out of that, and so she knew that she was going to be able to, like, everything's broken, and then use it to, like, burn it all down.
Yeah. The scenes where they're like, when they kind of all realize, because they weren't the murderers, that they could potentially be murdered, and they're like all kind of scattering throughout the compound.
Nice twist.
I kind of felt very high tension and very scared at first, because there's something very scary to me about, like, there's a part where he's walking up the thing and then you see a shadow run across the background, and I think later it's maybe revealed that it was like, because they cut back and forth, and the things, like you said, start to come together. So you see somebody run across that, and then maybe 20 minutes later in the movie, you see who that was.
Yeah.
And I find that to be like a very creepy feeling, is somebody just like running in the dark and you being like, ugh! Because like, imagine how you feel. Do you remember like when you used to play games like where you shut off lights or whatever and hide?
Yeah.
And there's that kind of like anticipatory, scary, sort of scary. Yeah, like it had that same kind of feeling, which I liked. I thought definitely for sure that stoner guy.
I thought he had something to do with it. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't. Because I did too. I just knew that he was gonna be like the guy shooting the person and he's working for him or something like that. So that was cool.
Yeah. So that guy is like Rian Johnson's friend. And he's also in his other movies, like he's the cop in the first one. He's one of the cops. He
had dark hair. Yeah, and a leather jacket. I remember. Yeah.
So is he like what's it? Bruce Campbell. He's the Bruce Campbell of this friendship.
I guess, except for like not in leading roles.
Yeah, I mean, but that was a long time ago. But then, like, Bruce Campbell started to be like in all of Sam Raimi's, like,
Eddie Murphy's best friend was in all his earlier movies and stuff, doing little roles.
I want to have a best friend that puts me in their movies.
Yeah.
I really like it when she shows up in his room and he's like, "Hey."
He's so lonely.
He's so lonely.
Pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of this movie, y'all. I mean, I would like to see it again just to see if I, just watch how it was constructed and stuff.
I felt deeply concerned for Dave Bautista's character when he had that gun on his swimsuit right next to his ding donger. I was like, "You're gonna blow your ding donger off."
And the gun was missing. And wow. Yeah.
And that was a very kind of, I saw the gun, very fancy, but also a little feminine, I thought, for what he would like to carry, because it had like scroll work on it. It was kind of like a fancy gun.
I didn't know what the hell was going on with Whiskey. I didn't know what was her angle the whole time.
Sometimes that girl looked, well, then that's another thing that gets revealed in this movie, is that like you think that she wants to fuck him.
Oh, she was sent
just right away because she wants to, and then it turns out she does not like him at all, and she does not want to fuck him. She's doing it because she really does love Dave Bautista's character.
No, she wasn't doing it because she loved him. She did it because he was going to put her on, and she was going to get her own channel and get.
Well, yeah, but no, she wanted it. She wanted it to be for him.
I thought she was just doing it.
She was asking it for him.
Yeah, because he said he was.
Yeah, I think you're both right. I think like he was asking her to do it for him.
Yes, he did.
Like he asked her, and she was also doing it because she wanted to. Yeah, she said, like because he was putting her on his channel more, and so it would be good for her. Like, so that is a misdirect as well.
Sometimes that girl looked very young, like 16. There was a scene where it shot from the side, and I was like, "Is that the same person?" Because she looked like a child. I will also say that the movie does so these kind of moving parts that you all have, like you're putting together, blah blah blah, to make your mystery movie work. Well, she's looking for the red envelope because she's looking for the evidence that her sister was the originator of this idea, and she tears up the room, which leads to that misdirect that makes Whiskey think that she is the murderer.
Oh, she's a harpoon at her and stuff.
Right, but then that makes for more tension amongst the people who really don't know who it is that's murdering people.
Yeah.
So those are all kind of things that you're like, yeah, good job.
Yeah, brilliant.
Nice work.
I enjoyed it. Yes, more of this, less of that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I kind of think that. So this one I liked, and the first one I loved.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that the next one, is there 3 more or 2 or is
3 more?
I think it's just one. I thought it was just one more.
I thought it
was 3 movies.
3. Yeah,
so it's the first one, then 3 more, so 2 more after this one. This is very much like the Bullet Talk and Clue.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one didn't belong to Netflix when he signed a Netflix.
Right. I think he signed a Netflix contract for 3 movies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like to make 2 more.
To make 3, okay. To make a total of 3. But I think that makes me think that because this is the first in this isolated trilogy, if you consider it,
keep them isolated.
That there will be, of course, they're all going to be related by him.
That's it.
Like the Hercule Poirot mysteries, where they are not related except for by the one detective.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get more of Hugh Grant as his boyfriend.
As his spouse, yeah.
It's like, are y'all going to do it more with this? Because it's kind of pointless that, even if it was a man or woman, so what? Are y'all going to do something?
I didn't know if it was because the only confusing thing about that was that they had so many cameos that I was like, well, I knew that it was supposed to be like his husband or boyfriend, but I was like, how much will this be in the
something else?
Right.
Film?
Yeah, that's what. And so I figured, well, maybe this is for another movie or something like that.
No,
or
it was like I did like that. So again, calling back because when she comes to the door, it's the same scene where he's in the bathtub. So you can hear him talking about the same dialogue, which I always enjoy, where you're seeing these kind of things move around. I think that I was a little bit shocked that she smashed the box because I wanted to have the box. I know the box is not real.
It was funny though because all that shit they was doing and she was like pow 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 pow. There you go. All that, So, and where did he get his invitation from?
From her.
She never showed her invitation.
He got it from her.
Interesting.
So she didn't show hers. He just assumed.
Yeah. I was a little shocked when he was like, "Why are you here? How did you get here?" I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
And I like that he's famous enough that people are like know him, which obviously he has to be famous.
World's
he had
greatest detective.
All those famous people on his group chat.
Yeah.
For some of them, for reasons that I understood. So it's like Angela Lansbury, obviously nice little callback there to her Murder, She Wrote shit. But Natasha Lyonne, I was kind of like...
So I read about those two. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has written a series of mystery novels.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wow. Good for him.
So, and then Natasha Lyonne has a new mystery show coming out.
I've seen things for that.
Like Peacock or something.
And Sondheim.
Sondheim, that's I don't forget I'm not a huge Sondheim fan, so I don't know.
I really like, but I just wonder, he's done
mystery type stuff too, so that's where that comes
from. They're all
from.
just mystery friends.
Got it. I mean,
mystery friends.
Worked for me.
The mystery friends.
Everything worked for me, and that what the hell was Hugh Grant doing with all that flour all over?
He's cooking.
He's like baking or something.
I think he's
everywhere, Jack.
I hope that what we find out about that character later is that he's kind of the antithesis of what Benoit would be, where he's a very like kind of gentle, not looking for anything underlying,
like a Watson.
No, not well.
I
mean, I would say Watson, but
I would say
Watson was smart. Watson was a smart person.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that everyone's completely opposite from Sherlock. I'm hoping that he is a himbo.
I
think he's just like takes care of him.
Yeah, because like you need that. Well, then he is kind of like a Watson because like Sherlock couldn't exist without a Watson.
Right. Yeah, he was started that.
I mean, like
he would forget.
And then there's the whole like there is, in the new Sherlock especially, like whether or not they were like lovers, but these people are definitely lovers.
Sherlock. I didn't watch almost
the
all
Sherlock show.
The TV show.
Yes, there's always jokes about whether or not that they were like more than friends.
Oh, you're talking about the
BBC.
The BBC one. Okay, because I'm like, man, I haven't watched
even within the show itself. I'm not just talking about the fans who outside of it did.
Yeah,
I know those cats beyond with it can't stand each other. That's for sure.
Are you serious? In real life, they can't stand each other?
Not at all. Nope.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So, man, I had a good time, man. We could sit up here and talk about this.
We could just keep going.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a stop on the button. Gotta get a button out, Tiff.
Yeah, shut up, Tiffany.
I got a button that says that was bullshit every time you press it. Go, that was bullshit. So anyway, I had to get that for the show. So we're gonna thank our guest for coming here doing her thing, Miss Vanity Fair herself, Liza Rafael. Loved having you around, man. Especially
thank you.
Good one, man.
Yes, it was great to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. Good to be back with the gang.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, man. Shoot, we haven't had a guest in a while though.
We haven't.
It's me and Tuff just been grinding to the nose to the grind. So anyway, man, I'm the host of Fans of Patrol. My name is Montego. With me is my adorable co-host, Miss Tifflebot. Show number 414 is out of the way, Tiff. Say goodbye to these gracious people, Tiff.
It's been a pleasure as always.
And our guest.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
All right. And until next week, man, when we do our thing, we will be on
patrol.
Patrol.
Jesus, you went so fast. I was like, pew, a bullet.
Time.